Radhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Shri Radhe, Jaya Radha Madhava Shri Radhe, Jaya Radha Madhava Shri Radhe, Jaya Madhava Shri Radhe. Shri Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Shri Shri Kaunitaya Mayapur Shashi ki, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah, Gaur Premanand. Hare Krishna. Welcome devotees to the morning class. Today we're reading from the Nectar of Devotion, and these are the qualities of Krishna, further explained. We are at the quality number 62. Krishna is surrounded by loving devotees. When we speak of Krishna, Krishna is not alone. Krishna means his name, his qualities, his fame, his friends, his paraphernalia, his entourage. All of these are included. When we speak of a king, is to be understood that he is surrounded by ministers, secretaries, military commanders, and many other people. Similarly, Krishna is not impersonal. In He's Vrindavan Leela, especially he's surrounded by the gopis, the cowherd boys, his father, his mother, and all the inhabitants of Vrindavan. In the 10th canto, 31st chapter, verse 15 of Srimad Bhagavatam, the gopis lament, "My dear Krishna, during the daytime, when you go out into the forests of Vrindavan with your cows, we consider one moment to be 12 years, and it is very difficult for us to pass the time. And again, when you come back at the end of the day, by seeing your beautiful face, we are so much attracted that we are unable to stop looking upon you constantly. At these times, when there is occasional blinking of our eyelids, we condemn the Creator, Lord Brahma, as a donkey, because he does not know how to make perfect eyes. In other words, the gopis were disturbed by the blinking of their eyes, because for the moment that their eyes were closed, they could not see Krishna. This means the gopis' love for Krishna was so great and ecstatic that they were disturbed even by his momentary absence. And when they saw Krishna, they were all disturbed. This is a paradox. One gopi explained herself to Krishna. One gopi expressing herself to Krishna says, "When we meet you at the night, we consider the duration of night to be very small. And why speak of only this night? Even if we had a night of Brahma, we would consider it a very short time. We get the idea of Brahma day from the following statement of Bhagavad Gita 8:17. By human calculation, 1,000 yuga cycles take together is a Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. The gopis said that even if they could have that duration of night, it would be still not be sufficient for their meeting with Krishna." It's interesting because I was reading just Krishna book, and it said that at the end of the Rasa Lila, that Srila Prabhupada explains that actually the duration of the Rasa Lila was the length of one night of the Brahma. So it just confirms that Krishna did extend that, the duration of the night, but yet still it wasn't enough. So Jai, the nectar of devotion ki, Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading today from Canto 7, Chapter 15, entitled Instructions for Civilized Human Beings. And this is text 19, and I will do also text 20. So I will read text 19 myself, and then we can repeat text 20 together. Asantushtasya viprasya tejo vidyatapo yasha sarvantindriya loyena jnanam chaivam kiryate. Translation: because of a greed for the sake of the senses, the spiritual strength, education, austerity, and reputation of a devotee or brahmana is not not self-satisfied dwindle, and his knowledge gradually vanishes. Text 20. Kamasyantam hi kshutribhyama Kamasyatam hi kshutribhyam krodasya itat palodayat krodasya tat palodayat Jano yati na lobasya. Jano yati na lobasya. Jitva bhuktva disho bhuvaha. Jiva bhuktva disho bhuva. Kamasyantam hikshutribhyam. Krodashaitat palodayat. Jano yatina lobasya. Jitva bhuktva disho bhuva. Kamasyatam hikshutribhyam. Krodashaitat palodayat. Jano yatina lobasya. Jitva bhuktva disho bhuva. Kamasyantam hikshutribhyam. Krodashaitat palodayat. Jano yatina lobasya. Jitva bhuktva disho bhuva. Comes word to word. No, sorry. Please chant. Kamasyantam hikshutribhyam. Krodashaitat palodayat. Nadila lobasya. Kamasyantam hikshutribhyam. Krodashaitat palodayat. Yano yatina lobasya. Jitva bhuktva disho Kamasya, of the desire for sense gratification or the urgent needs of the body. Antam, and he indeed Kshutribhyam, by one who is very hungry or thirsty. Krodasya, of anger. Etat, this. Pala udyat, by venting chastisement and its reaction. Yanaha, a person. Yati, crosses over. Na, not. Lobasya, greed. Jitva, conquering. Bhuktva, enjoying. Disha, all directions. Bhuvaha, of the globe. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The strong bodily desires and needs of a person disturbed by hunger and thirst are certainly satisfied when he eats. Similarly, if one becomes very angry, that anger is satisfied by chastisement and its reaction. But as for greed, even if a greedy person has conquered all the directions of the world or has enjoyed everything in the world, still he will not be satisfied. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 3.37, it is stated that the lust, anger, and greed are the causes of conditioned souls' bondage in this material world. Kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudabhava. When strong lusty desires for sense gratification are unfulfilled, one becomes angry. This anger can be satisfied when one chastises his enemy, but when there is an increase in lobha or greed, which is the greatest enemy caused by Rajaguna, the mode of passion, who can advance in Krishna consciousness. If one is very greedy to enhance his Krishna consciousness, this is a great boon. Tatra loyam ikaram mulam. This is the best path available. Om Gyanam Timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapita Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamakayam Datisvam Padantikam Vanchakalpatrubhascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtatate Shatarine. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the morning class. So before I start, I just want to say a gratitude of appreciation of this opportunity to talk on Srimad Bhagavatam and all the little or big instructions I've received so far from devotees, and because you know everyone has to all has to work with false ego, and I found it very purifying, especially when on the days when you don't get enough sleep, and then you get some maybe like little instructions from the devotees. So I found it like specifically purifying. So and the best way to deal with this when you, because sometimes it can be to the false ego is so close to the edge because you just you're just not gonna do anymore, right? So and the good thing to remember is that what we do every morning, right? Tinada pisa nichena torora pisa nishana amina manadena kirtanya sadahari. So I pray I can be lower than in grass on the street. I can always take everyone's instructions in the right mood, and then amplify in my life. Just before I start, also I just want to start with a question. Maybe someone can share. How do you understand as when Mahaprabhu says in the third verse of Shishasana, he says we should be lower than the grass on the street. How do you understand this? How should we behave? Ishan, yeah.
Well, I've heard, not like practically understood, that when you stand on a piece of grass, it goes back up. As the devotee gets stood on, it might not. It kind of just keeps him down,
Yeah.
Instead of letting this false ego go back up.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I've understood so far as well. Thank you, Isam. So yeah, grass is already quite humble. Whenever someone steps on the grass, then the grass humbly bows down. But then what Mahaprabhu says that we should actually be lower than the grass on the street. So we should, even someone steps on us, we shouldn't come back. We just stay down humbly, So in that same mood, we should try to approach every service. We should try to be humble in every situation. So yeah. So I kind of want to connect this at the beginning also with the verse, because today I would like to talk about greed, and we can see that as we as a Sankirtan devotees, we like to go on streets and we like to meet people on streets and give some spiritual literature, or at least try to share something. Maybe also try to at least ask them to chant or make a donation or maybe take some prasad. So so we can see usually when we go on like a busy street or like a Buchanan Street or maybe Princess Street, you can see people like running around different places, going right, and we are always in this rush of for some sort of happiness or some sort of satisfaction, right? And these days, as we can see, because as we show this knowledge, we show these books, not everyone has a like maybe understanding of like that. There's actually we are more than this body, right? So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, "Reinis minya yata dehe dhiras komanam yovanam jara tata deantar prapti dhiras tatra namuyati." Right. So this embodied soul is covered by this material body, and we pass from a boyhood to youth to old age, and similarly at the time of death we take another body. So one who is self-realized is not bewildered by such a change. And so because most of us, myself including, we identify ourselves with the body in gross level, and we kind of like we have a different understanding of what should be sort of the purpose. So how can we be happy, right? So because we identify ourselves with the body, we say that, well, in order to satisfy myself or be happy, there's some certain material desires I need to fulfill. So we can see everyone's running around, trying to get some money for some sense gratification. But the reality is that trying to satisfy, being identified with the body and trying to satisfy material desires is pouring water into the cup with the hole at the bottom, right? So you can pour as many as you can, but it's never going to be fulfilled. So this is what material greed is, right? So as Prabhupada is saying, is that even someone who's having all the 3 awards, it's not going to be satisfied, because he wants more and more, right? So material greed cannot be satisfied. But lucky enough, actually, is that greed is such a nice quality that you actually have to be very careful with the greed, because in a material sense, greed is very undesirable, but in spiritual sense, greed is very desirable, right? Because Prabhupada says at the end is that if one is very greedy to enhancing Krishna consciousness, this is a great boon, right? So Krishna consciousness movement is here to purify or desire. So we have these different desires. We have, as we say from the verse, we have this thing as called lust. Should be purified. So by lust we understand to be some sort of material desire we want to enjoy for ourselves, but it's a matter of purifying, changing the quality of the lust of this desire. So if we can change material greed into the spiritual greed, it's a great achievement. So so any questions or comments so far? Yeah. Yes, Ishan Prabhu.
Thank you for making this point about greed. It was very interesting because we understand greed's a very bad quality in general. So I was just wondering, we don't want to develop greed spiritually, but I mean, we don't want to develop greed materially, but we try to develop this greed spiritually and greed to gain Krishna. I was just wondering, how do we develop it as a certain practice that we do to develop this greed? Is it a natural occurrence?
Yes, so we have this. Thank you for your question. We have this nice book we give on the streets called "The Higher Taste." So it's a cookbook for karma-free diet, but it's more than that. There's a little bit introduction how to grow spiritually, through food. But I like the name of the book because it says higher taste, and in the same way we also should deal with a higher taste, changing our material taste to the spiritual taste. So, and this is done by process provided by Krishna conscious movement, right? So one of the best method is chanting the holy name of the Lord, and as Mahaprabhu says, Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam, kanonaste, evanaste, eva kati anyata. So there's no other way of, spiritual advancement than just chanting the holy name of the Lord. There's no other way. There's no other way. There's no other way. And yeah, so from my own experience, I can tell there's still there's this naturally, as we associate, we chant more, we read scripture, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, we can naturally start to develop the taste for spiritual things, because it's like this disease, jaundice, is that pronounced? Yeah. So the sweet candy might seem very sour, but we just keep eating it. So naturally, at some point, we're gonna be cured. We're gonna feel the sweetness of it. So same way. So the cure for the material desires is just keep chanting the holy name. It might be it's quite austere at the beginning, because we don't have much taste, but naturally with the faith, by acquiring knowledge with time, we can develop this higher taste of reading more Bhagavatam, right? So yeah, I was advised recently that the reason we don't read is because we don't have taste. And it's very true. It's actually it's also, yeah, it's things to be prioritized, and it's also kind of like yeah, it's all Krishna's, it's all Krishna's arrangement, all Krishna's plan. So if he can, Krishna can seek that we actually value our time, he will arrange for us to actually give this time to get absorbed. But yeah, it's also like a sort of like a purification process, actually, to get to the stage of understanding, like, okay, I should prioritize my time for reading, for chanting, for my sadhana. And yeah, so I would say something like that. Is that okay? Yeah. So. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. So also to try to develop these things, even to try to get a higher taste, we have to have some determination. That's right, isn't it? We can't just because as you say, you get jaundice and everything sweet tastes bitter. So if you don't have any determination, then you're gonna taste that sweet thing. It's gonna be bitter. You forget about it. So what's the way to develop that determination as well? Is this a natural thing, or is it a thing that we have to work on?
In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Tadviti Padnipadena Pariprashena Sevaya. Can you help? Tadvidi Padnipadena Pariprashnena Sevaya Upadakshanting Degyanam Ganina Strata Darshina. So we approach someone who has a taste, who's a self-realized person, a spiritual teacher, and we acquire from him submissively. We try to serve him, because this self-realized person have seen the truth, so he can depart this knowledge to us, and also depart the taste. So we naturally won't have a taste, and we say, well, what's the point of this, right? So I might just go back to enjoy material life. But then there's maybe senior devotees or some spiritual teachers say we can take a good example from them, because we can see them. They are so absorbed in reading and just serving everyone. So yeah, association is, I think, is a key for. Because from my own example, like staying in university just by myself, not having association can really affect everything. So you naturally start to absorb all these this bad association, right? So you start to think in that way. But if you get a good amount of association, then you are in less or more so safe position. So that's what I personally I was trying to come in every weekend. I remember to just meet see devotees. So here I'm full time now. Yeah, and yeah, and also praying is good because we shouldn't underestimate the power of prayer. And I experienced it my personally on the street, just like a simple prayer. You ask Krishna to. So yesterday we were on Bias Road, and I was praying to Krishna to just send a nice person who I can give a Bhagavad Gita to, and uh, and then there's like I was praying like this, and I was thinking maybe I should also thank for all the previous people, all the good people so already came. So I was praying like, thank you for all the nice people. Please send some more nice people. So yeah, and a lot of times Krishna is reciprocating. So immediately someone just comes and takes a book. So Shri Shri Kaunita Manipur Shashi Ki. So any follow-up question?
Not really. I was just thinking of this verse. I could only remember the end of it. Vishaya Vinavatante Nirhasaya Dehina Rasa Rajam Rasopyasha Paramdrisya Vivatite. And Krishna says that, we gain a higher taste. And then I was just reading the purport. It's a diseased person can't just give up things and lose the taste. They have to get something higher. It seems that things, once we get the taste of something higher, then it will naturally fall away. So there must be like a combination of the both. Like some endeavor and a natural falling away of the lower things.
Yeah, definitely. It's not only just one thing for sure, and I think it's also because getting disappointed in the material world also plays a big role. When you have tried so many times, but you're like, nah, not this lifetime. This lifetime I'm gonna give it to Krishna. Been through this so many times. Maybe we'll try to maybe just try to fully surrender to Krishna, right? So Krishna says, Sarmadharma prityaja mamakam sharanam rajam aham tam sarva papi vimokshashami masuchaha. So it's like, he fully surrenders me, I will, render you from all the sins and reactions. Do not fear, do not hesitate,
Also, Prabhupada had asked, just give this one life to Krishna and see what happens. Just this one life.
Yeah. So that's what Prabhupada also says in his lectures that just this one lifetime you surrender to Krishna, and then next life you can do what you want. But if you do that, then obviously there's not going to be next life in material world. So yeah, so I want to also a little bit more expand on this idea of greed and unsatisfaction in the material world. Is that as people go in their lives, we associate ourselves with a certain group or a certain certain body. We are this and this. We are maybe a student, a doctor, or a teacher, and so on and so forth. In the same way, also it can this misidentification also come into like different spiritual practices, right? Sometimes we stop people on the street and I'm asking, oh, excuse me, can you make a donation today? That's, oh no, sorry, I'm Christian. it's like no worries, it's for everyone, right? And then when I stop a person, I try to explain that actually yesterday I had a little conversation going on, and I was explaining that Jesus Christ wasn't a Christian. he was a devotee of the Lord. Like, he was a servant. He was teaching how to serve God, and right. So that's what we all are. Actually, we are servants, because either, for example, if a person may be a Hindu, maybe in this lifetime, but it's not certain that he's going to be Hindu. Maybe it was a Hindu in previous life, or he's going to be Hindu in the next life. right? But the thing that doesn't change, right, and also which comes together with the verse, in Bhagavad Gita, the as a soul passes through, to the boyhood, to the youth, to the old age, right? So we can see that the body changes, but the soul doesn't change, right? So we should ask, what is this constitutional position of the soul? And it's actually being a servant, right? So it doesn't matter like if your previous life or the next life we're going to be in this body, or we're going to practice this religious practice. We all are servants. It doesn't matter in what time, in what place, we are always servants. But the problem in the material world in this age is that we are servants of our senses and mind, right? And Krishna conscious movement is here to show that actually we should be servants of Krishna, of God. And that's the way actually also how to purify that greed. Because greed, because we are self-centered, right? We want to satisfy our senses, and to satisfy the senses is basically the way as we're trying to satisfy this material greed. We think that just if I just have this car or this house, this nice family, then I'm going to be satisfied. But uh, it's one thing follows the next thing, and this journey of satisfying, these different material desires actually is going not in its one lifetime, but in so many different lifetimes. Uh, um, I give my blessings to blessing, but I ask for. Um, I'm very thankful for my parents as they grow, took care of me, and they managed to get me to this point. But I was asking just my mom. I remember that saying that you know so when you finish this, when you're gonna so she has so many different plans and things she wants to do. So when you're gonna finish this, what are you gonna do next? So I'm just gonna do this, and then I do this. So I could tell that it's like this thing of the different material desires. It's gonna go further. It's gonna further after next in the next life, right? So it's never ending, right? But and the interesting thing is that by trying to satisfy this greed, it's we are feeding we're feeding the false ego. So the false ego is getting bigger, but it's never satisfied. It still stays hungry. So that's a sort of like a like a paradox, right? So the false ego increases, but the false ego is still very hungry. So the solution is to take up Krishna consciousness and then try to change our desires to satisfy senses of Krishna, because it's the same as by satisfying Krishna. It's the same as like watering the root of the tree. We're not watering each leaf separately, because if you do that, then naturally trees then die out. Yeah, so we aim to actually water the root of the tree, because this is going to bring actually satisfaction to everyone. So yeah, so from the time immemorial, we've been trying to satisfy the false ego, but it's impossible to do. And then as we go, to the other side of the coin, the greed can be spiritualized, and we should also we shouldn't look forward to satisfying the spiritual greed. We should because it's we always want to increase our love or service mood, develop our better mood for service, and read more, chant more. So from yesterday's class, as I remember, the three things we should be satisfied in material world are the spouse, the food we get, and the material wealth. And the three things we shouldn't be ever satisfied is the study of the scriptures, the chanting of the holy name, and how much we give in charity. Yeah, so we should never be satisfied by doing the spiritual activities, and in the same way, this quality of satisfaction should be we should get rid of it as we if we desire to enter the spiritual world. We should never get satisfied by, because in spiritual everyone is centered towards Krishna, right? So it's all about service, and so we never be satisfied. So there's really no place for satisfaction in the spiritual world in that sense. But at the same time, everyone's looking for satisfaction in the material world, right? Um, so yeah, from also from Sri Ishupashana first text, it says that we should be satisfied whatever quality we get, and we shouldn't acquire for anything more, knowing knowing well to whom it belongs. So should be satisfied whatever we get here in material world with a bodily condition, and try to make the best use of the bad bargain. That's what Prabhupada says. Yeah, yeah. So best way to purify these seemingly bad qualities in material world is by chanting the holy name. So yeah. Thank you for your attention. Maybe some last questions or comments or reflections. If not, then Shanam ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanandi.